Howdy, howdy, howdy. What's up, everybody? HellaBass live on a Thursday night. Hockey last night. Actually had hockey tonight, but the game got done slightly earlier so we could start a stream not super late. So what's up, everybody? Thomas Hines. The late show suits you well, makes you right on time. Darius is here. Coy, what's up, buddy? You could join in if you want, Coy. I didn't even think of that. If you want, I could send you a message. Let me know. I'll invite you, and we come hang out and talk together. Just say something in the chat, and I'll send you a note. What's up, Paul? We're going to talk all things fantasy fishing. Brian, look at you making a live. Josh. So solo stream this week. It's going well, Michael. How are you? I'm doing well. We are like hockey crazy in my house. Tom Mix, what's up, buddy? We have had, we had a tournament last weekend. I got back from Mexico, and the girls won the tournament in Wisconsin, which was pretty sweet. And then we had a game last night, and we had a game tonight. And then we have an out-of-town tournament with games Friday afternoon, 2 games Saturday, and a game on Sunday. And then I fly to California next week. So busy, busy, busy. So no stream next week unless I decide to stream from my hotel room. So probably not a stream next week, but I'll get a video out. There you go. Everybody buy a lottery ticket. Thomas is here on time. KCT, Darius. What's up, everybody? I hope everything sounds good, looks good. Diggy Higgy says, looking to improve my fantasy fishing this year. Landed about 30% these past few years on some leagues. All right. Well, you're in the right place. We're always here to help you suck less, whether it's in fantasy fishing or on the water. Doug, SmackDown Outdoors, what's up? All right, so we're going to cover all things fantasy fishing. We won't go super late tonight because I have to get up and drive 4 hours to a hockey tournament tomorrow. So we'll answer any fantasy questions. I got a little bit of an agenda. I guess before we get too far, we should thank Arsenal for supporting the channel and the stream like we always do. I just realized I have to update the code in the banner for Omnia. Those that couldn't guess it. But so there's a new code for Omnia Fishing for those that like to save 15% on most of their fishing tackle from Omnia. Now that's down there below with the Omnia code. So there we go. Lunkers with Lucas. Sean, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. I like the new profile pic. That looks good. Daniel T. Picking the guys with the worst odds all year. Horrible plan. But the Bengals are in the Super Bowl. Yes, that is a terrible plan. Unless you get them all right, then it's a brilliant plan. But more often than not, a lot of them are low percentage for a reason. And how many long shots can you hit in a row? And that's usually where it gets you when you pick the long shot. Good. You set your MLF roster. Did you join the league, Trevor? Did you join the HellaBass League? Yeah, John, the MLF is complicated, and you have to join 3 different a league for every game, and the navigation of the site is terrible. I just put out a video this morning because I almost missed it, and it's not easy. It's not intuitive. It's not easy to play like Bassmaster, but it is there. There are prizes, and I kind of figured if it's that difficult to play, then a lot of people are going to bail out. You got a better chance to win stuff. So if you want to stick with it, fight through the complicatedness of MLF, I think there's probably a decent chance to win some prizes. Right on. More Iowa gang in the house. The leagues are still open to join, and we'll talk about how to join all of them tonight, and we'll cover that. Hey, Stephanie, what's going on? Been out on the ice? Looks like you're holding a crappie in your profile pic. Nice. All right, so we talked about Arsenal. You may have noticed I got a new hoodie. New logo, new hoodie. It's nice and soft. I would highly recommend this. If you guys are hoodie people and you like any of the Omnia hoodies, they are a high-quality hoodie. I grabbed one the other day when I was in the shop. Yeah, no joke. They probably didn't want to throw themselves under the bus, though. Paul, that's a good question. MLF, it varies per tournament. And so for this first stage 1 event, as I talked about in my video today, which I had to dig through some articles to figure this out, that on Lake Darbonne in the opening qualifying rounds, they are doing 1 pound, 8 ounces minimum. And then when they get to the knockout rounds and the championship rounds on Caney Creek and Bussy Break, they're going to a 2-pound minimum. I think the low they will go all year is 1.8, depending on the fishery. And they'll go 2 pounds most of the time, but on really good fisheries, like last year at on the North Carolina lakes, and they have a 3-pound minimum, I think. So they'll vary it, which when you're playing the predictor game and some of that stuff, you might want to do a little research because that could definitely affect some of your picks and decisions. Yeah, it's not easy to do that either. Okay, that's a good question. Over or under 85 pounds for St. John's? My prediction is under at this point, but tiebreaker is something that I kind of will tweak the week of. What do you say, Coy? We could do a poll. That's a good poll question. Let's throw that in the YouTube chat. We'll see what everybody says. Now, this is assuming a 4-day tournament. We don't have any weather like we had 2 years ago. 85 pounds, St. John's Elite Series winning weight. We'll go over. Under. We'll ask the community. Now there should be a poll coming up any moment in the YouTube chat. So thanks for that question. It should be showing up. I don't see it yet. Did it not post? Does anybody see it? There it is. 100% of people say under so far. Bo says the hoodies are nice as well. Yeah, I think heavy hitters was 3 pounds. I think that would always be a trend. Yeah, on the right. Here's the thing. MLF could go to some really unique fisheries. When they're only putting 40 boats on the water, there are probably some gem hidden lakes out there where you probably could do a 4-pound minimum because there's that many quality fish in the lake. But on most of the mainstream tournament spots, I think that'd be really tough to do because then they would just have a 5-fish tournament and it wouldn't be an every fish count. John says under. Josh says under. Lucas says under. Yeah, I can see that. The cold weather really could play into the hands. Now, it may make the overall fishing a little tougher, but it really, in my mind, I think could make the fish bunch up and get into a pre-spawn mode, which could make somebody like Cliff Prince ultra dangerous in this tournament. And then if we get a little warm spell, we could have a big wave and somebody could literally be at nothing fishing a pocket or an area and literally just have a massive wave of giants push up in front of them. So the cold snap leading into a little warm weather can make things really, really good on the St. John's. Thomas says the over. Looks like it's about 75% under so far. Yeah. I talked about that, because I drove by Darbone Lake quite a bit because I fished the Darbone Bayou when I was on the Ouachita River. Never put my boat in it, but from what I can tell, it's a nightmare to navigate. Hey, Bill. Lucker's just over 75.11. All right. Cool. Where do we begin here? We're going to talk MLF fantasy fishing. We're going to talk about bass fantasy fishing. We're going to talk about some new prize packs from Super K for MLF for the Beat HellaBass groups. We'll talk a little bit about the pundit articles. The history of fantasy fishing I'll touch on briefly because I think that's interesting. Make sure you guys all understand how to get into my leagues and a few tools and the members only league and the Drain the Lake planner that I built for members. So those are all some of the topics, and then answer any of your questions and anything else I think of tonight. So let's start. Since most of you want to talk about bass, let's just get MLF out of the way first. So MLF, they had their opening event, so they've got 3 games. Maybe I'll just pull up my screen here. Make this as complicated as possible. Let's see here. We're going to share our screen. we're open opportunity. But I know most people want to talk about bass, so we're going to start with MLF. Does that mean you're not playing MLF, Coy? You're not in it for the prizes? So here's the thing. You go to Major League Fishing or Major League Fishing /fantasyfishing.com, and this Play Now button is your friend. Awesome, KCT. Appreciate the super sticker, buddy. That is awesome. Not needed, but greatly appreciated. That's awesome. That's super cool. Much thanks. That's super cool. But all right, so here you have the 3 games. And what's interesting is each one of these, if you want to join a league, you have to join the league for each one of those. So whether it's the Tackle Warehouse League, the Beat HellaBass League, you have to join each one of them individually. And the other thing that's tricky, so we already had a Tackle Warehouse game. I did pretty mediocre, middle of the pack. Mark Daniels Jr. not showing up to the tournament definitely didn't help. That's terrible news, funny news. That's a great comment, Michael. That might be the comment of the night. So if anybody's got a hot sister, slide into Michael's DMs. No dabbling for Coy. Oh, so here we go. Keith Poche is fishing the Open and MLF Saturday. So if you're saying he's down in Florida right now, so if he made the cut, I guess it depends. Is he in Group 1 or Group 2? So he might be having no official practice, is what you're saying. So that's interesting to tell. I did put him on my team, but that's good to know. Dion Himden's not fishing the pro circuit, I don't think, or the BPT. He might be fishing the pro circuit, but he's not fishing the BPT. Oh, he didn't say hot? All right. I might have read into that. So it sounds like there's several pros. I did notice that Zach Burge, well, based on Zach Burge had an okay day today at the Open. So he's in 9th. So yeah, interesting. I don't know so I would imagine if they made the top 10, would they stay and skip their round of the MLF, or would they bail on the top 10 and go? That's a really good question. I would love to see what happens. And I guess if they're not in flight 1, they could make the top 10 fish Saturday, drive through the night, and be there for Group 2. But we're going to talk. We will get to Bassmaster, Alex. If you want to hang out, we will get there. We just want to touch on MLF first. But so you create your team. Go in, and I've already made my roster. So in each one of these, you got to go in here and go to leagues, and then you got to enter a code. Join a league. You paste the code in. So here's the code for Beat HellaBass. I made a video on this today. I actually could grab that information quick and paste it for anybody that wants it in the chat. Make it easy for you guys. I'll get that real quick here. Anybody else wants to grab it and copy it out of the chat here. For each of the 3 groups. But here's the thing that also makes it complicated. So right now we're in the BPT regular fantasy fishing game. Michael Meal did win Raybird. Congrats to him. I did talk about that in my video today. I haven't heard whether they're sticking with it. I know they signed up, but I don't know if that changed at all. I haven't heard if anybody else is. So once you're in here, you are here, right? And you want to I can't figure out anywhere you click, you can't get back up to the 3 screen. So once you're in here, and there's not a logical way to get to the other games without backing out, which is frustrating. So that's 2 complaints. One is that you have to join a group for every single one of them, and I have to create one and look at 3 different ones. The other complaint would be that there's no way to navigate back to the game, so once you get in, you can't really see the other games. Here's all 3 codes I'm posting in chat right now. So if you want to join all 3 of the MLF groups, I just post them, and they're also in today's video. I'll try to pin that comment so people can find it easy. All right, so that's the other complaint. And then, so the best thing I say is you need to pin that Major League Fishing, Fantasy Fishing. This is the URL right here. This Major League Fishing / Fantasy Fishing. So you keep going back to this screen. And then you can go in and you can enter 3 of these. Yeah, and you'd think they would have realized that by now and changed it, right? Like, how hard would it be to add a button or something in the drop down right here? I mean, that should be so basic. I mean, I could probably do that in front page or like write code for that myself. I am not aware of an app, but I also haven't looked for it. Yes, that's the other thing. Yes, finding groups. You basically have to have an invite code. You can't search for a group. So basically, when somebody tweets it or puts it in a video or it sends you a link or whatever, posts it on Instagram, you're not going to know they have a group. So here's what I did in. So my group: Ottifo, Edwin Evers, Andy Morgan, Chris Lane, Dakota Ebert, Wheeler, Spore, Montgomery, Fletcher, Shyrock, and Keith Poche. So now the Keith Poche is an interesting one because somebody said he's fishing the Open right now. So he may not be getting much practice, but I'm guessing he pre-practiced being from the area and he knows how to fish cypress trees in the springtime in Louisiana. I'm not spending a lot of time researching this. It's more for fun. But I do think, it goes by total weight. And I think if they're going to have Ottifo and Jacob Wheeler in separate buckets every time, I think a great strategy is to have them on your team for every single event. And I think you can kind of stack your team, and then you just got to sneak out a few good picks in the lower. Otherwise, I think, probably not bad to be out on Keith, but I'm too lazy to change it. But that's good information for those that are willing to change their picks. Yeah, I feel you. It'd be nice to know when people don't show up. Bass does a really good job of last minute updates, and they put that all over social when somebody has a back injury or has to drop out last minute. But I had no clue about MDJ. It's true, not a super long drive from Florida to Louisiana. But so that's my lineup. I posted the links to each of these groups. And then the predictor game, which is more like what's the word? Prop bet game. You get 6 questions for every event. They kind of make you think. And AOI for both series this year. When you say both series, are you talking about BPT and Elite Series, or are you talking BPT and Pro Circuit? But I would say Bassmaster, I like probably Fighter and Walters would be my top picks. And then I think, I don't know how you go against Wheeler or Ott in BPT. So of these 4 guys, who's going to finish the highest? I'm going Edwin all day. Guy knows how to fish shallow, dirty water. Neil, probably a favorite to fish the Pro Circuit. That's a good point. Dakota Ebert, he's from Texas. And here's another thing. It's they have the show more. I missed this the first 2 times I was in here. I didn't even know these 2 guys were options. But I like Ebert. He's from Texas. He's had 3 top 20 point finishes in the Pro Circuit the last 3 seasons. He's probably the best angler in the group. Probably most well prepared for this type of fishery. Cole Floyd's pretty good, but he's kind of a TVA guy. Hayes and Lawyer Ozark guys. Salzman's a TVA guy. And Clavion Johns, he's a shallow water frog guy and might be a little too cold for that. I don't know. I feel like Hackney's going to come out hot, and then he's just going to kind of regress to the mean like he did last year, but we'll see. And then you have to figure out what will the total weight for somebody that doesn't make the knockout round. I went with the high over 35 because I just figured that gives me more chances. There's more, assuming that it's a good bite, more upside. So I'm kind of doing the Price is Right thing there. And then also doing the Price is Right thing on the big lunker of the whole tournament, thinking that in the championship round, they're saving the best lake for last, and somebody's going to catch a giant. Scoreable bass over 5 pounds in the knockout round. So that's 38 anglers fishing for one day on Caney Creek. I'm hoping the Caney Creek's good. I'm going 22. And then how many scoreable bass will the champion catch in the championship round? Now, I definitely in my video today had this as the whole field and had it like 75 plus. But now I'm thinking 17 to 20-ish range is how many keepers, but they're going to catch some big ones. So that's my gut. Those are my picks for the predictor game. So MLF, basically the top 25 in each tournament win like a rod and reel combo or a rod from either Fenwick or Abu Garcia. And then the winners of the overall season win fishing trips with Edwin Evers, Bobby Lane, or Justin Lucas. So that's what you're playing for. And then the winners of the Beat HellaBass group, $25 jig packs from Super K. So that is what you're playing for in the Beat HellaBass. And let's see how many people do we have in our groups. I think I've got quite a few in the first one. And then let's see how many are in this group that we just kind of announced today. So if you get in right now, you'd be playing against 50 people for a prize pack from Super K. Can't complain about that. If you can't wait for that, you can always use the Super K jig code HellaBass15 at Super K Jigs anytime to grab yourself some made in Wisconsin hand-tied premium jigs. Definitely worth checking out. All right. Any other questions on MLF before we get out of here on the MLF side? Yeah, that's always tough. That happens in bass too, though, where you set your tiebreaker weight and they lose a day. If they lose the first day, they usually open it back up and let you adjust it. But if they lose a day, second, third day, then yeah, the tiebreakers get all jacked up. They might delay it. They definitely delayed a practice day, and they're delaying the tournament till 10 a.m. So I don't know if they're going to fish later or not, or just a late start. But they probably usually fish the whole time. That's okay, Sycamore. It's okay to be lost. It's confusing. 100% agree, Brian. Any other questions about the MLF? Let's talk about the history. The one thing that is cool, and I got a little sentiment for the MLF / old FLW. Back in the day, FLW came into the scene with fantasy fishing. And for the first year or two, they had like Hulk Hogan endorsing it. They had all this money behind it. And it was $1 million to the season winner just for playing fantasy fishing. $1 million freaking dollars. A couple people won $1 million in fantasy fishing. Now, that dried up. Didn't seem sustainable, but that was a big step for fantasy sports and fantasy fishing. So, and that's what got me playing fantasy fishing back in the day. And so I'm glad to see they're back because it makes it more interesting to follow the tournaments. I definitely checked in on the standings of Rayburn to see how my fantasy team was doing. And I wouldn't have done it very likely if I wasn't playing MLF fantasy fishing. And that's one of the great things about bass. It like keeps you looped in. When you play fantasy fishing, you check, you have a vested interest. It's like your fantasy team. Would you ever pay attention to the, some random, non-division AFC game if you lived in Minnesota, if you didn't play fantasy football, but you're going to pay attention with the Chargers versus, the Dolphins because you got somebody's running back and a kicker, right? I mean, it's the same kind of thing. They should fix their website before they make an app. Yeah, trucking a boat's not a bad deal. Yeah, the Walmart money is not there anymore. For the BPT, you need to have your picks in by Saturday morning. It was like 7 or 8 a.m., but now it's probably 10 a.m. since they've changed the start. It is powered by Bally. So maybe someday we'll see some fantasy fishing. Like, I don't know if we're going to do like lines on winning, but I could see them doing more like prop bets, over under, total weight, cut line weight, similar to the bets that you see in the predictor game. I would see that's where you would see maybe like a daily fantasy fishing game, like, DraftKings type thing that, maybe Bally Bets comes out with. And, maybe we can make prop type bets. I don't think they're going to be like pick to win. I don't, that probably lead to a little bit of maybe like corruption or things like that, or like, whether one angler finishes like above 20th or below 20th. I don't think we're going to see any kind of that stuff. But I think it'd be interesting. I think it would be put a lot of eyeballs on the sport and would legitimize bass fishing. So that would be a good step for fantasy fishing and bring some money in for sure. Yeah. So the biggest reason to play fantasy fishing is fun. It's free. You can win some stuff, and it makes you a little more engaged to follow the sport. Who's ready to talk Bassmaster? We should maybe have a new poll on the. Should we update the poll? So it looks like 73% are taking the under on 75 pounds. So let's see. There's 50 some people watching. If you're thinking about it, hanging out, maybe tap that thumbs up while we're here tonight. There's a little bit of lag on my my poll here. Come on. At least my kids are being loud and annoying in the background. I don't know if anybody else can hear them. Come on. I don't know why it's so slow. Thought I'd be able to add a new poll, but it's not liking that. I guess we'll just bail on that. Yes, Trevor, bass was much easier to set up. Big bass for St. John's, I'm guessing, is going to be over 8. Usually there's like an 8, 9, close to 10 pounder almost every single season. I agree. Good to see him back. They definitely need to work out some kinks, but more fantasy fishing, more opportunity, the better. It doesn't affect the score. So owner percentage does not affect score. It just tells you where people are kind of placing their picks. And it just, if you want to follow suit, then that's how you do that. But it doesn't really, it just kind of tells you where the group is. So like if you pick dark horses, and if the favorite has 70%, if Hackney has 70% people picking him in bucket A and Hackney bombs, right? And then you pick somebody else, then you're getting ahead of 70% of the people by a lot. But if you don't pick them and you pick somebody who bombs, then you're just going to fall back behind a bunch of people that have a lot of points. It just kind of gives you, but you really shouldn't let that affect you too much because you should pick who's going to do well more than anything. That's my opinion. So to get to Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing, you go to Bassmaster, you click on Fantasy Fishing, and there you are. Coy, you and I are tied still. You have 6 days, 7 hours, 40 minutes, and 3 seconds to get your lineups in for Bass Sycamore. We are doing well, hanging out. Big Bass at St. John's. Yeah, that seems about right, D. Higgy. You're in the ballpark for sure. I don't know. Get your fish on. He lives down in Florida. He says, I'm thinking that should be 10 pounder caught, not 10 liberal, but better late than never. Yeah, my kids were in that phase for a while too. what that means. Yep, that's right. Pick who's going to do well. Don't worry about the percentage. If it gets late in the year and you're close and you feel like you need to make up some ground, then maybe think about percentages, but don't worry about it now. Yeah, weather next week is going to play into a lot on what the winning bags for fancy fishing are going to be. So Bassmaster does have 2 games now. They started Drain the Lake mid-season last year, and they've had their traditional fancy fishing game. So you set your buckets in the traditional game. So groups are much easier to find, right? You just go to groups, join or create group. So you can see we have the Omnia Fishing group was a good one to join. The Arsenal Fishing group. Beat HellaBass, I highly recommend. Password Visor, all caps to join that. And then for you members, don't forget there's a HellaBass Visor gang for members only, which I'm putting up some Omnia gift cards for the members only of the channel. The members are all the people with the cool green name, bold and names in the chat, like Daniel and Chris and Sycamore and Will and Thomas. So they're all eligible to fish the members only fancy fishing group. But otherwise, there's a bunch of other groups you can join. Just hit join or create group. And no need to have any kind of secret codes. You can just go in here, click to join on. Some of them do require a password if they are private. But the only big private group is Beat HellaBass with over 500 people in here. How's that? There's no other private groups even on the next closest one is 147 for private groups. So thanks to all you guys that watch and joined the we're losing pace to beat Ronnie Moore. So as a private group, we've lost ground. So we're about 500 back now. That's my dream to beat Ronnie Moore. I know if I opened it public, you guys would get me over the top. But as a private group, we have fallen behind beat Ronnie Moore. Yeah, so there is a big difference in how I approach Drain the Lake versus regular fancy fishing. Because, and we'll talk about that. So the regular game, the Rapala Bassmaster Fancy Fishing game, where you can win like $4,000 per event, not just a combo like MLF, and they have more picks and prizes, and you can win like $21,000 in the year-end prize. So other thing I want to point out is that in the homepage, they have articles from the different pundits. So there's several people, Emily, Kyle Jesse, myself, Pete Robbins, Coy Greathouse, all write articles before every tournament. So you can read those if you want to see who we're picking, who we suggest, what we think of what's going to happen. That's good research if you want something that's all in one place and easy to check out. But then you basically just got to go and set your buckets for the regular game. And you basically just go A, B, C, D, E. They change the buckets every week. Right now, they're kind of mixed up a little bit. But once after this event, they basically be all based on Angler of the Year standings. And basically the people that are doing the worst will be in bucket E. And the people that are having the best year will be in bucket A. And you just pick the anglers in each bucket that you think are going to do best. You can sort by how they're doing, like ownership percentage or their rank. Obviously, they don't have rank yet, but during the year, you can see who's doing best in each bucket. And you can look through, and then you can also click on their names, and it brings up their profiles and their tournament history. Whereas you can't click on the names in MLF. You have to go outside, search for the angler in MLF to see any kind of history. So Bassmaster makes it all kind of a one-stop shop, which is really nice. This is my picks. I went with Jason Williamson in bucket E because he's been at just about every elite. I'm pretty sure every Elite Series event ever held on St. John's River. So I'm just going to take his veteranness, and he's done decent. So I'm taking him. My dark horse pick was Matty Wong in my fancy fishing article. There's several guys. Bernie Schultz being a Florida guy, he never seems to do that well on the St. John's River. So I've been sucked into that before. There you go. Blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. Well, hey, you can spend as much or as little time researching fancy fishing as you want. It doesn't matter fishing the Southeast as long as you're having fun. I'm top trending right now. What does that mean? Are we blowing up? Yeah, and then so you can't see anybody's tournament or picks in a group until after the tournament starts. Then you can go in and see everybody's picks in the tournament, and you can see how people did and the winners, and you can see all their how they're doing. I think Seth's going to be in contention right away. The schedule still looks pretty good for him. If he gets out of Florida in range, I think he's going to be a contender again this year. Yes, Sycamore, that's because I only catch them the first day at the national championship and not on days 2 and 3. But thank you for reminding me. Yep, that's all true. John Cox is a good pick. The only thing you have to worry about him is I think later on in the season there is some conflict between the Tackle Warehouse and the Elite Series. So depending on what he's doing, he might have to make a choice. So he also last year, like he had to drop out of the St. Lawrence River one. So you just have John Cox is one of those guys you got to watch to make sure he shows up for the tournament and doesn't go to another tournament. There you go. Bucket F for fun, Josh. Yeah. I think Whitaker is a decent pick. He didn't do great last year, but the year before he had a really good tournament on the St. John's. Yeah, as much as I'd love to see Rick Clunn do well again and have another good tournament, I don't know if he's got it still in the tank. I guess we'll see. Yeah, it's back to the history. MLF, for a while, they had a salary cap in their fancy fishing game, which actually made it quite a bit of strategy and fun for their fancy fishing game. It was a cool game when they had a salary cap in the FLW game for a while. There you go. Trending video link. That's cool. So that's my pick, Justin Atkins. He's actually fishing the I don't think he had a great day. He was fishing the Open today. I don't know if he hadn't weighed in yet, but when I looked, he was at 0, but maybe he was a late weigh-in. But those are my picks. Gary Klaus obviously he had a top 10 last year. There's a few interesting picks in here, but I don't, Clunn's getting a lot of ownership because he's won there twice, but I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen again. But if I was going to pick him one year, probably one time, this would probably be the one time all year I would pick him. Yep, Ike's in a new bucket. So bucket D, let's see if we own percentage. I'm going with the Cliff Prince is a local. I think he's pretty much top 10 or been pretty close to a top 10 every time we've been here. He's been close to winning a couple times. He's fishes here his whole life, and it's hard to go against him, especially in bucket D. I'm going to go with the ownership. I'm not going to overthink it. If you want to be a little more dark, Mark Menendez has done really well here. He's got a lot of top 10, top 20s. Kobe Krieger is another guy from Florida. He doesn't necessarily do great in Florida. Whitaker, maybe. Chad Morgenthaler, somebody that's going to just fly around and flip a D-bomb. I could see him doing well. Dollar Bill. I haven't really searched Bill Lowen's track record in St. John's River. So I'll show you how let me just unshare this quick and show you. Click on their name. And this is how I kind of look at quickly. Right. So I just open the new tab here. Bill Lowen comes up. I click on total tournaments. So it's going to give me a list of all their tournament fishers. So Bill Lowen, a veteran, he's got 166 Bassmaster tournaments under his belt. And then I'll do a Control F. And I'll bring up a little text box here. And I'll search Palatka. And then it says there's 7 mentions of Palatka. So in 2011, he had a 35th. 2012, a 25th. An 86th and 214, 2016 at 35th, 2019 at 47th, 47th in 2020. So he's pretty decent. He's got a lot of experience. He's mostly got top 50s, right? with a couple, top 30, 25 30s. He's only had one bomb here. So I think Bill Lowen's a fine pick for Thomas D, based on the research. You're not expecting the guy that like lights out, but would I take him over a Cliff Prince? No. So that's how I kind of do a quick search if I want to see somebody's history on a lake. I picked Slopper last year. He let me down. Bob Downey he's a grinder. I could see him doing well. Cliff Perch, there's a sight bite. The Golden Ram's a good pick. There you go. Mini Money Mo probably works out. Nope. You can, the same username, you can join all the groups. I don't know. They used to have like a 10 group limit, but I think you can join a bunch of groups. I don't know. I haven't really tested to see how many you can join, but you basically just go, back out here to Fancy Fishing and go to groups and join a create group. You see, I've all in the same login. I'm joined like 10 people, but I could just pick another one. I don't know, am I in this one? Serious Angler. Join this group. Join Bailey's group. I'm in. That's how easy it is to join a group. And you can just keep joining them until it tells you can't join anymore. Brian New is there. He's just not in the buckets we've looked at yet. So going back here, so Bucket D, I highly advise Cliff Prince, but if you want to be dangerous and go against the grain, there are some other options in there. Todd Otten might be decent. Bucket C, now we got some heavier hitters. We got Cox, Martin, and there's your guy, Brian New, Charles, you just asked about. Zaldane, newly Guggen Zaldane in there. Canterbury, Blaylock. Lots of guys that have done well. Josh Douglas, Elite Series rookie. Cody Huff, dangerous angler. So there's some good anglers in here. But I'm going Cox. Cox grew up fishing the St. Johns River. Now, he hasn't had a great tournament there last year, but I think he grew up fishing the other end of the St. Johns River. But I think this year he kind of figures it out how to fish from the Palaka side, and he's going to make it count this year. But, it said, hey, you can put as much, like, remember, we're not playing for money here, right? If you do well, you get prizes. If you don't, so you can go in and you can literally spend 2 minutes filling out a roster or 30 seconds, or you can spend 2 hours. It's up to you. But that's why I put up the videos in the article. So if you just want to briefly cruise through my video and read some of the pundit articles and spend 5-10 minutes and get a couple ideas and then mix that with some of your own opinion, and you can be done in and out in just a few minutes every week. Bucket B, Drew Benton. He's from the area. He grew up in that Seminole, northern Panhandle, Florida area. He's a sight fisherman. I like him a lot. He's a good pick. I think Prosnick probably has a good tournament coming back. He's a heck of a sight fisherman. John Cruz, very consistent on the St. Johns River. Brian Schmidt, tidal water grass expert. Now, there's not much grass left in St. Johns, but I think he's a good pick here. As you get up in these buckets, it's really hard to find bad picks. A lot of these guys are really good. Webster, I think he's going to make some noise. He's been really good on the pro circuit. I think he's going to do well. We had Luke Palmer on, right, a couple weeks ago on the stream. I think he'll find himself at home. Matt Herron, lots of good picks here. But I went with Drew Benton. And then finally, I went really sneaky here, a little bit against the grain, because I know like Coy and everybody else all picked Hackney because he's like a top 10 machine on the St. Johns River. But I wanted to go a little bit against the grain, sneaky. Hackney, Fighter, Walters, all really good here. You can't really go wrong with those guys. Ike's back. So if you Ike fans, you scoop him up, pick him in bucket A. Drew Cook, he's kind of like Drew Benton, also good on the St. Johns River. Johnsons have done well down here. But Lester's kind of like top 15 to 20, about 3 or 4 tournaments in a row. And I feel like Lester's sleeping on an AOI contention season, and I'm betting on the come that this is going to be his breakout season. But there you go. Austin Felix, heck of a sight fisherman. So if there's a sight bite, Austin Felix, sneaky pick. So that's my bass breakdown. Is there any other questions? Bill's a sleeper. Yeah, he's a grinder for sure. Yeah, I did all my research and ended up about the same place as you did. High 80s, maybe. I think I came back at the end of the year and did I don't remember. Coy might have ended up still getting me, but I made Coy nervous at the end of the year and almost caught him. Yeah, we're going to shift over to Drain Lake here in a second. There you go. There will be no math, Sycamore. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Walter. I heard they canceled the day of practice, and now they're delaying the start to like 10 a.m. instead of like 7 or 8 tomorrow or on Saturday. Not sure, Gene, but I might go swing by Intune on Friday on my way out of town tomorrow. We'll see. Kufal, I mean, he's a river rat from Wisconsin. I don't remember how he did last year. But Kufal's a good fisherman. I don't know if he's got Florida figured out, but a lot of times Wisconsin and Minnesota guys do well in Florida. So it wouldn't be crazy to take Kufal. We could see how he did last year real quick. Does a Johnson have a chance at the? I think the Johnsons have a chance. I mean, he was right in the mix last year, so I would say yes. I think Johnsons always have a chance at the OI. So last year, was last year his rookie year? Is listen to my own advice and wrong one. Search 2 events. So he's got a 16th last year and a 61st. So his rookie year 61st, last year 16th. So yeah, I think Kufal's a decent pick. How many fancy fillies are you honestly in? They're all right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like 9. Maybe 10, because Serious Angler's not on here, and I already joined that one. Yeah, if I was going to use Clun, I would use him here for Drain the Lake. So Drain the Lake, what's different about Drain the Lake? Let's now jump over to Drain the Lake. We've spent enough time on traditional games. So if you want to go to Drain the Lake, you can go up here, Drain the Lake. I think there's also Drain the Lake down here. Set tiebreaker weight. You do have to hit save on that. I'm right around 77. So I guess, did you say over under? He said 85. So I went 77. So go to Drain the Lake. $50 plus MLF. I think I'm only in like 2 or 3 MLF leagues because I don't know how to get any of them because you can't search for them. All right, so Drain the Lake is different. It says set your buckets, but there are no buckets. Every event, there are 10. When you count the Classic, there are 10 events, 9 regular season. Does that sound right? Is it 9 or 10? I thought it was 10 with the Classic. I thought it was 10. It's 9 or 10. And basically, you have to pick a 8 angler roster for every event. Once you use an angler, you can no longer use them the rest of the year. So what I built is this handy dandy Google Sheets planning table. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yes, with the class, there's 9 regular season events plus the Classic. And I built it so you can pick the roster of every one of these and fill it out so you have a planning sheet. So this is available to all channel members. I put this out in the stream. If there's any members that don't have it, they can get it. And so this really, you can just kind of willy-nilly pick them, but if you really want to be good, you kind of need to lay out your year, whether you do it on a spreadsheet or whether you write them down on a notebook. You kind of got to plan it out, I think, to be successful. I'll give you a quick glimpse at mine for the year. Look close. There's mine for the year. But yeah, so so my strategy for fantasy fishing here, I took a lot of the guys that are on my regular team. Cliff Prince, he's the local. Mark Menendez done really well here. Whitaker, I feel like he can get me some solid points with a Senko in the marinas. Hackney's a dang stud here. He's a guy you could use almost every tournament of the year. Klaus had a top 10 here last year. I would probably use him here or maybe around the TVA. Benton and Cook getting the season started. John Cruz. So these are the guys that I'm going to burn at the St. John's River. And then they won't be available for the rest of the year. And so I'm trying to save guys like Seth Fighter for the smallmouth, guys for like Johnson's I want to save for the St. Lawrence River. Buddy Gross for Chickamauga. Just you got to kind of think, where do you want to use somebody? Because with 10 events and 94 anglers, now you get a few extra people at the Classic, right? So at the Classic, you got some guys like, let's see here, Keith Tuma. He's only fishing the Classic because he won an Open. Taylor Smith, made out of the Nation. Let's see who else. Shane Powell, he's only fishing the Classic. Joey Nania, he won Pickwick Open. Jared Miller from the Bass Nation. Tristan McCormick is the college angler, I believe. So there's Nick LeBrun won the Grand Lake Open. So there's a few guys you can sneak in and use just here. And then so you get a few bonus anglers. But essentially you got like 94, 95 anglers, and you got to get 10 events, 80 guys. So you got to use like 80, 90% of the guys throughout the year. So there's not too many people you can leave off your roster. Yes, you can only use them once. So the way I set this up is that, let's say you pick Matt Airy for this. That's really hard to see with my my night mode on now. Justin Atkins. But if you like try to pick the same angler, it basically gives you a red to show that you already picked them. So I got some conditional formatting there to help you show if you've got any repeats. So eFan, since you're a member, there's a members only stream from a couple weeks ago, but I'll repost the links and the information in the community tab for the members here after the stream. But that's Drain the Lake. Gary, I see you. Gary's a big Maddie Wong fan. Where are you taking Maddie Wong and Drain the Lake, Gary? Taco Itu. Yeah, I think I got Taco Itu pegged in for Oahe. No, Oahe or St. Lawrence River. I don't remember which one I put him in. For my main group, Beat HellaBass, it's Visor. Password is Visor, all capital letters. For the Beat HellaBass Bass group. It's a few things. I'm not fishing in the winter. That's a good point. B, I do a lot of like spreadsheet analytical stuff for my daytime job. Believe it or not, I don't fish for a living. And then C, I'm just kind of a fan of the sport, so I like digging into it. You can win money in Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing. Let's just take a quick look at the prizes. So this will be the Drain the Lake prizes, which are a little smaller. I think they're just, you can get $500 gift card from Bass Pro if you're a Bass member. And you get some gift cards from Mercury. The better prizes are in the fantasy fishing game. I think if you win the year end, you fish with Davey Height. The prizes for the Rapala Fantasy Fishing game are quite a bit better. You get a $2,500 Bass Pro gift card, $1,000 cash. And then a $500 price pack from Rapala if you win each, and that's the. And then second prize is this stuff, and then and then the grand prize is like $15,000 gift card, $5,000 cash. So there's some good stuff to be won here. That's weird. Lacrosse is going to be interesting because lacrosse is not fishing as good as it did last time the Elite Series are going to be here. I fished a tournament there this past summer that I almost won, finished second in the Northern Regional. And I had low 40 pounds for 3 days and almost won it. It ended up being right around 45 pounds to win it for 3 days. So I would expect about that. I mean, I think winning weights for that tournament to be high 50s, low 60s. And I think to make the top 12 or top 10 is only going to be, after 3 days, is probably going to be low 40s. And to get a check, 10 pounds a day is probably going to be pretty good. I wouldn't be totally shocked. I think Harris Chain, probably his best shot. If you beat, there's a lot of people that beat me last year, so I can't take everybody that beats me fishing. But that would be fun if I could. Tom says he got a prize pack last year. There you go. Shyrock and the Shyrocks do pretty well in Florida, so I can see that. Fancy fishing where you win a boat. I could see that. I could see them give. I feel like they did give away a boat a couple years ago. Coy, if you're still watching, let me know. I think they gave away a boat a few years ago. Possibly paid entry of a serious fancy fish. I don't think they'd ever do entry fees. Did I pick Kennedy? Let me see if I picked Kennedy. Where I used Kennedy on Sante Cooper. That's where I put him. Thanks for the reminder, Rich. Appreciate it. So is there anything we didn't cover? So if I didn't mention, every event, Drain the Lake and the regular fancy fishing for the Bassmaster Beat HellaBass group, Omnia Fishing is giving away $25 gift cards, which I already have all the digital gift cards already. So I can literally, as soon as you contact me and let me know that you confirm that we're winners and we can connect for the email, I will literally send you a $25 gift card code for Omnia Fishing, and then obviously you can use the code scrolling down here at the time to save 15%. So you get $25 plus a 15% off code. You can get yourself some good stuff at Omnia Fishing with that. So that is for everybody. So there's 500 people in the group right now. So you're only playing against a much smaller pool to win $2,500 each event, and there's 2 chances between Drain the Lake and the regular one. Gramps in the house. What bait do you think will be responsible for the most top 10s? So I think St. John's River will be probably a jerkbait or a Texas rig. Harris Chain, probably a soft plastic. Hartwell, hard bait. Sante Cooper, spawning. I think there's going to be a lot of soft plastics. I think there's going to be a lot of spawning events. That'd be my guess. I think soft plastics are going to dominate this year. At least for a day, you did. I mean, I'm excited to see lacrosse. I just don't think it's going to be a great event. I think it's going to be a grinder. Yes, that is awesome. Thank you for mentioning that, Thomas. There you go. We're up to 501. Cuz says jigger jerkbait. I actually liked your video on your homemade dual mount, Gabe, the other day. Will Stanley, what is the password? Is that what you're asking? It's visor, all capital. Let me see right. There you go. It's right there. Password visor. Did I explain fantasy fishing or Drain the Lake well enough, Higgy? Does it make sense? Do you get it? Do you get the concept of the elimination, the survivor type pool? Will somebody win an event on a big swim bait? I would say maybe. At least a large contributing factor. Whether they do it all 4 days, that's tough. But I think I could see a swim bait playing at Hartwell, Chickamauga, Lake Fork, and Pickwick. Those would be the 4 I'd watch for swim baits. What company is soft plastics? There's so many good ones. I don't think you'll see one dominate, except for when we go to St. Lawrence and Oahe, I bet you the max scent will play big. I don't support that part of it, but the first 8 minutes were pretty good, Gabe. Who's excited for the Guggen swim baits? All right. Sean says, I love bass, but when you think about it, everyone has come back from MLF has making an immediate impact on the circuit. Well, J-Pow hasn't yet, but he probably will. Atkins, Ike will probably do well. I think it's interesting, right? You see guys like Keith Poche, Zach Burge, they're skipping out on practice at the BPT to fish opens. It's kind of telling. But in the end, you know what? Honestly, I don't want to wish any ill will on MLF. Now, am I as big a fan of MLF or FL BPT as I am Bass? No. But it wouldn't be good for the sport for the BPT or MLF to fail. I'm just telling you that right now. Like, if you love the sport of bass fishing, you shouldn't be wishing ill will on MLF and BPT. You can root for bass more. You can root and want bass to be the best. But that tournament organization folding would not be good for bass fishing as a sport. That's my opinion. I was talking more about the mag draft, but yes, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be throwing the. I don't think he'll be throwing the current version of the Guggen swim baits, but more. I'm sure they'll have an offering they'll come out with very quickly with his name on it as a signature series. Yeah, I think Ike's going to have a good year. I'm not saying he's like AOI, but I think he's going to be in the mix. Well, we don't know where they're going. We know where they're trying to go, but they got to catch them. You don't just get there by trying. You got to catch them. Well, that's a bummer. Second market, you set up. You could just create a new email. If you got more than one email, you could just create a new login. Jay Fish is in the house. Will says the 10-inch mag draft will be the winner. That's not true, Sycamore. I wish ill on the Packers every single year. Yeah, their fantasy fishing is a hot mess, but hopefully it gets better. Well, most of the tournaments have a minimum of 2 pounds now. So there you go. All right. Is there anything, any stones we didn't turn? Remember, members, if there's a few members that haven't joined the members only league and they probably haven't have the detail planner yet. So I'll post some stuff in the members only links for you guys to make sure you guys have that. And then also post a link to the replay where I walk through how to use it in great detail. Ice is for drinking, not fishing, Jay. You should know that. I'm more of a casual hockey guy, but I definitely root for the Wild. Won't that be nice if we don't have to face him? As long as he doesn't end up on the Bears or something crazy like that. Well, the opening round on Lake D'Arbonne, 1 pound, 8 ounces this year. So this first tournament, 1 pound, 8 ounces. And then for the knockout round, the champions round, they're going to 2 pounds. You can put ice in a Coke or water or iced tea. Diet Mountain Dew. All right. We talked about leagues, how to get in, pundit articles. We talked about Super K. We talked about Bass. We talked about MLF. What time is it? 9:51. So we're just over an hour in. Thomas says no. What other questions? Anything go up? You know what? I do have. We didn't talk about this. Got me a new. Look at that fresh logo. No sweat stains in this visor. Should we turn this into a visor tonight or some other night? What do you guys think? What if we did this? Should we? But we haven't used in a while. This is the bait cam. This is the new Omnia lid, Richardson 112. Learn how to make a visor. You want to learn, or I need to make a visor? What are you saying? You guys want to see it? People are calling for it. We do have our Arsenal Battle Braid scissors right here. It does help the channel, so I do appreciate that. No chainsaws, but we do got these bad boys. So there are two ways to do this. One, if you have a visor already and you're playing it, if this is your first time, right? Like laying it over and kind of like giving yourself a line and a trace is not a bad way to do it. But I've done enough of these that I'll probably just freehand it. And if you ever wondered why I wear a visor, like this is how many holes I use. 2 is all the buttons we use on a snap. So just like this one. So here's what it looks like if you guys want to see it. The Richardson 112 actually doesn't fit my head too bad. It's much better than other hats. Like usually most of them are like, when they sit up like this on my head because they're not tall enough. I actually have 2 videos of making visors before, so they're already out there on the channel. All right. So we just freehand it? Should we dual screen it with the bait cam? Oh, let's see here. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. All right. All right, we're just going to start right in. Get it about, it's a lot of pressure to freehand it right on the stream. Just to kind of, when in doubt, take less. You can always take more. Once you take it off, you can't really add more. That's a pro tip. Cuts braid better than it does fishing hats. Feels a little bit uneven. I feel like we're gonna have to do a little adjustment here. All right, let's see how. We're just gonna throw it on, see how we did freehanding it. Not bad. Not. Actually, it's pretty good. I don't know this. I've gotten pretty good at this in my old age. That thing is pretty rock solid right out of the gate. Did somebody want this as a giveaway? Is there anybody that wears these type? Mr. T, are you in? How do these things... I feel like I can't put it on my head correctly. Hopefully this is not offensive. It's not a very big beanie, but if somebody wants it, send me a note. Take it if I sign it. There you go. Debo can use it for like a little minnow bucket for ice fishing or scooping up his... If anybody wants this, just send me a DM on Instagram, and I'll send... First person to DM me that really wants it, I will send it to you. So there you go. Live Omnia fishing. I feel like it's not. Is my head? Maybe this one fits a little. We need to tighten it up just a touch. It feels like it's sitting funny on my head. Is it the camera? I don't know. It's like playing tricks with my mind. Maybe I do have it slightly uneven. Feels weird. North Carolina tournaments? Probably not. There you go. There was a whole bunch of people rocking those down in Mexico. Why does this feel so weird on my head? I don't know. We'll get that straightened out. I think the camera's like messing with my mind. I am losing a little hair. We are getting that little bit. Every time I get a haircut, I notice it's a little more. I mean, it's still nice up here, so we don't have to worry about like burning the dome with the visor. But when I fish, I usually have a hoodie up anyway. So I usually go hoodie over visor when I'm fishing. Block outside, lights out, sunglasses. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I can't get the hat. It's like the mirrored camera is like messing with me because I keep like adjusting it wrong when I look at the camera. I feel like that's what's going on. All right, so there we go. There was live visor making. It looks straight though when I hold it up, but maybe it's ever so slightly needs to be tweaked. Definitely needs a little trim right here on this piece right here. This piece needs a little. But there you go. If anybody needs extra hair, Sean's donating. Balding Bastards of America, Sean's got you covered. That's a good question, Will. I'm sure there's some good ones for 50. I don't have any. I haven't worn any in a while. Maybe somebody in the chat knows of that. I've just got several pairs of Costas, and I, knock on wood, have been able to not lose them. And they have a good warranty program. So I haven't really tried any under $50. I bought a couple emergency pairs, like $15, $20 at the gas station. Not so impressed with those, but they get you through a day. No, it gets pretty soft. This part is more abrasive than this. This is actually pretty soft on the hats when you cut them. And then once they kind of fray, then they get this kind of nice natural look. So they get worn in. You know, I need to do that. I don't know about live streaming all my tournaments, but I definitely need to figure out how to live stream through a GoPro and try it out for like a Tuesday nighter or just out fun fishing to see how it works. I need to like figure out how to connect my GoPro and stream through a phone. So that is a goal of mine. Yeah. I can't put a hat on straight. Thomas says he's got a pair of Ikes that are $20. There you go. HellaBass Bass Group password is visor, all capital letters. Visor. Shady Rays, I've heard about them. They've advertised on Bassmaster Radio before. Full send, Chris. Dustin, late night. What's up, buddy? Getting off your shift. That's good. Yeah, I lost a pair on Leech, goofing around 2 years ago. Cal says, check out I Surrender. I think so. I think most of the tournaments permit live streaming. I know like Scott Pellegrin and a few other guys live stream. I know Carl Jacobson live stream from Opens before. I think Adrian Avina had done that before. I don't know about Elite Series because there might be a conflict with them live and the anglers living, but I think most of the other tournaments, they don't mind. Yeah, also Sierra has, and then what's that Amazon's sister site where they do a lot of clearance? Woot, maybe? Woot.com. A lot of times has good deals on Costas. Here's the bonus tip. One of the reasons I don't lose glasses as much as people, right, is so one, getting a good pair of sunglasses that are actually comfortable. They don't cause strain in your eyes. You keep them on most of the time. What why most people lose sunglasses because they don't comfortable, they don't fit well, and they take them off and they set them down, they set them on their hat, or they're too dark, and when you go in someplace, right? So that's one thing, right? If they fit well and they're good quality lenses, you don't take them off your face as much. The other thing is a lot of people set them on their hat, right? And then they don't. But a visor, I don't have my sunglasses here, but like I can tuck them in to the side. So they sit here and they tuck in. They don't just fall out. So if you've ever seen, I'm sure you've seen my fishing videos, I take my glasses off, they tuck in. So the visor is actually really good for keeping your sunglasses from flying off and getting lost. Yeah, prescription is nuts. My team partner, Michael, had to get some prescription Costas, and they're expensive. If you got expensive, I would put them on the lanyard. That's too expensive. I would like, whether it looks cool or not, I would have the lanyard tied to those. I think we'll see that someday, right? Where like you'll have live cameras and you'll be able to pick. I don't know when or what, but I think that's something we'll see someday. I think it'd be pretty cool, like because now every Bass Pro is required to keep a GoPro or a camera running in their boat for recording purposes and rule infractions. If they could create a software system where it went through their phone and then fed into a master control room, so basically everybody's GoPro was connected to the angler's phone and was running off their Wi-Fi or their cellular service, and then that communicated back through a third party to Bass, and Bass could literally just pull up any live GoPro at any time. Imagine how amazing that would be. Hammond is the worst. I think for driving too fast in his bullet, he should have paid for half of them. I see a lot of guys doing it on Facebook, but I don't see it on YouTube a lot. The one thing I struggle with is like, right, when I live stream here, we're like super interactive. I'm reading your questions. I'm like talking, answering questions. And I'm fishing a tournament. I feel like you're just going to get a live stream of my back of my head and my ass as I'm fishing. I don't know if it's going to be as cool. So it really would be, can you imagine if I could integrate it where I could like see your questions pop up on my Hummingbird or something, and then I could like answer your questions and like to get the audio right. Like, I mean, I think if we could get it done right, it could be a really cool product, because I could fish if I could have like something in front of me and answer questions, and that'd be really cool. Yeah, Ish Monroe reps the cocoons. Ice in Western Kentucky, that's no good. See, this is my sunglass lanyard because they tuck in. Good luck tomorrow, John. Smash them, catch some big uns. Gets you every time. There you go. Yeah, think about it. Like, bring an extra phone, run a hotspot. Then I probably need to have like an extended battery on my phone. Just, we have to figure it out. There you go. Visors are the future. Become part of the visor gang, John. Yes, I did really throw a frog on the ice, but it was just for TikTok, Instagram type stuff. I wasn't really trying to catch anything. I was just goofing around. That's true. I do get like text and email notifications pop up on my Hummingbird through the Bluetooth. That's another, but then I'd have to give my cell phone out to all of you guys. Seems dicey. It'd be kind of cool, like if like on a Tuesday nighter, I would be a lot less serious, right? We're like fishing for like 30, 40, 50 bucks or something like that. I would be much more apt to like check in with the camera and look at the phone or things like that. So I think that could be yeah. So we get a burner phone just to do live streams. So then we just another $100 a month cell phone unlimited plan just for live streaming. It's an interesting thought. That would be nice. Like if we had an assistant, like I had an intern, a tournament intern, to be able to like read questions, like because that's like when Omnia goes out with guys like Fighter, right? There's usually a guy holding the camera and a guy basically just reading the phone in the live, which would be pretty easy. But there's not a lot of people that just want to go sit in the boat and not fish for hours. A little bit. I actually did a video online today that should come out early next week. But yeah, I fiddle with some tackle. I've been clearing some stuff out, putting stuff together. I donated a bunch of stuff to a high school club that I did when I did a seminar the other day. So there's some cleaning, there's some planning. I need to still need to plan out my tournaments for the year. Do I need to upgrade any rods? A lot of it's like turning over gear, like getting rid of a few reels, getting a few new reels, grabbing a few tackle. I just made an order from Omnia today. I did get some stuff. I think I opened this like last week on Thursday. I did purchase some of the new DT8s, right? Grab some of those from Omnia. They're pretty much gone now. I grabbed some of the new tiny OGs. So those came into Omnia. They also disappeared very quickly. Grab some of the Missile Baits Mini D chunks. I think those are going to be pretty sweet. I'm excited about those. We did kind of a deep dive on these with Mr. Bass last Thursday, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but I got some of the new Adrenaline Craw Juniors in white and green pumpkin blue, because I think these will be killer jig trailers. And then so I'm getting restocked on a few things, trying some new baits. Made an order today for some things. So just knocked my new visor over. Yeah, most of the stuff sold out really quick on those. Keeping my options open. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I don't know if he stuck with it long term or not. I do think, like we have all these amazing like tools, right, in our phones and tablets that are just as powerful, if not have better processors than probably any of our graphs. If somebody could come up with some generic hardware and software that we could tap into tablets, that would make a whole lot more sense. Omnia got a few more in stock of DT8s. Do we have an in stock alert live on the channel? Should we check this out? Breaking news. Oh, there are some colors that came back in. Look at that. Should we share? Did you get your order in? Might be too late if I share it on the screen. All right, so Omnia does have the Caribbean shad, the citrus shad, the live bluegill, the live river shad, and the perch. Ooh, and the red crawdad. Some good colors. So if you guys are looking for some DT8s, Omnia has a few. You can use the code below the screen to save 15%. I never poured jigs. I do tie some jigs on my Bass Tech tungsten heads. And I did play around with remelting Senkos and stuff, but I haven't done that in a while. I've gotten lazy. That's something I need to see if I can pull off this year. If it was fun fishing or whatever, but I'd like to do that a little bit. No, I fished some of his old school baits, like the Sebile Swimmer, and they had a lipless crankbait that had like liquid inside of it that actually did pretty well once on Clark's Hill on that bait. But I haven't used any of his new stuff ever since, just the old original Sebile stuff. Oh, we got an intern in the making. I think it'd be a little too big for a Ned rig. And I think a Ned rig, you don't want, like, I know they have some of those Ned baits, like the little Strike King Rage and some of the ones that I think you want something that doesn't kick because that's going to change the fall. A Ned rig kind of has that like glide, right? I think you want something that's just a short little stub. You could have some like straight appendage, but I don't think you want a kick because that's going to change. Not saying you can't catch fish, but it's different than a Ned. A Ned, I think you want to have kind of a more straight, like the TRD or the Tickler Z or something with real minimal, the bang stick. That's the kind of stuff I think for a Ned, not something that has like a kicker tail on it. There you go. Good luck in that TBF derby. You learned well, Daniel. Always get yours before you tell everybody else. Yeah, I gotta get a few things packed up, so we probably need to wrap things up. I just lose track of time hanging out and talking. But we are an hour and a half in. I feel like we covered anything. If you guys think of questions I didn't answer, if you're watching the replay and there's something fancy fishing, leave a comment. I will get back to you. And if you're watching the replay, Facebook, YouTube, listening to the HellaBass podcast, thank you guys for all that listen on the MP3 as well. Enjoyed the show tonight. Enjoyed everybody showing up. It was fun talking fancy fishing. Good luck to all of you. You have until Wednesday to get your St. John's in. You've got until Friday night, Saturday morning to get your BPT rosters in. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think we covered it all. I do have this Go for Bassmaster sticker. My old Bass Club sent me a sticker. It's kind of cool. I think I kind of want to get a laptop for editing, and then I'm gonna put some of these like fishing stickers on my laptop. That's kind of the plan. Saving up. Thanks to all the members. Thanks everybody that tuned in. Members, if you haven't signed up for the private group, make sure you do that. And as always, here to help you guys catch more big bass, suck less. No stream next week. It'll be 2 weeks before we're back.